Hi everyone. It's February 26th. It's almost 7 p.m. Um, a Saturday, and the weather was kind of nice today. Well, a little chilly. A little chilly. This is going to be a shorter podcast because right now I can't go live. And I checked with Facebook and I've talked to other people, and I'm arguing it. I could go live in about another 24 days. Um, I posted a meme. I didn't really post it. I shared a meme about Jeffrey Dahmer, and it was sarcastic. It was funny. I think it was funny, and I did it last year, and it came up, and they said it violated the community standards. So uh, I challenged it, and they gave me back some of my things I could do. Like I wasn't supposed to be able to post for 24 hours. I couldn't post to groups for 48 hours. And they gave me that back, but they said I can't go live for a month. And then there's something called the oversight board, and I appealed to that. I'm waiting to hear on that. It's so silly. I wasn't patronizing or promoting or honoring a guy who ate people. And so I actually don't think humans watch these videos or clips or post. It's a computer algorithm that if it sees, this certain name, they think it's bad. It's promoting violence, so they flag it. But I think it has to be human eyes and human brains that have to see that it wasn't promoting, violence or for people to eat people. So I'm going to make this short because I'm going to load it then to Facebook. If I make it too long, I can't load it to Facebook. And this way you could see kind of be live. Okay. So let me just do my little intro because I kind of like it, and we'll get right into the work. I really love the music on that. Okay, it's uh, brings it pretty exciting, and maybe it's more dramatic than what it should be, but you got to do what you got to do. Now, I was watching one of my favorite programs is The Connors, and kind of like it because it deals with like a kind of like a middle class family, if we still have a middle class, and the struggles that they have, and when you have family members who have different viewpoints on politics. And I enjoy it for that because, well, that's what America is all about, right? People with diverse opinions, with diverse backgrounds. But this week they had an episode where the young lady, oh, no, I just forgot her name, one of the daughters wants to buy a house, and she has good credit, and she was approved for the mortgage, and she went and she was in competition with other buyers who had extra cash, and someone put in an offer for 20,000 above, and of course they won the house. Okay, and what I'm afraid of is if is this is what's happening to a lot of young buyers who want the American dream of having home ownership, but they don't have this extra cash. They may have the money for the down payment, they may have money um, for the closing cost, but to go above that with using money for to beat an offer, and in this example was 20,000, and I've heard that, especially in your biggest cities like in New York and Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles, San Diego, where people going well above, and sometimes to 60,000 to 100,000. And of course, that's going to beat out the person who is a first time home buyer, and they just was able to scrounge the money together for a down payment, and now they have to compete with this. And in the real estate industry, we have a saying: we want a win-win situation, meaning that both sides are winners, not just one side. You know, takes all the chips and say, "Well, the heck with you," and I'll see you next time. I won everything. Ha 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 ha. We really are not having win-win situations right now, and I don't think that's a good thing. And I don't think and a lot of realtors, okay, are saying, "Oh, it's a great market." Yeah, it's a great market if you're a seller, and you're able to, you're selling something that's worth 500,000, but you're getting 550,000 for it. Well, yeah, that's good for you, but it's causing homes to be extremely overpriced, because now that house that was probably appraised first at 500,000, well, it was, because they're bidding over that, right? Now it's going to go on record being sold at 550,000, and that house will be a comp for the next sale. All right. So when someone else is looking for a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath house in that area, it's no longer 500,000. That was the last sale. It was 550,000. Okay. Again, great news for the seller. Not so good news for buyers. Okay. And what we're having here with today's economy and what everybody's seeing, okay, we have inflation, we have very expensive gasoline, we have uh, grocery prices going up, we have home supplies going up. Today I had to buy a light bulb for my car for the front headlight. It was $30. Okay. I used to pay like $12, $15 for a light bulb. $30. Okay. It's outrageous. So we have this great inflation. The prices are going up. Home prices are crazy. And now mortgage rates are going up. So there's going to be a point in time when this situation is not good, right? I mean, it's going to be after a while where, it's the same thing with people who are, they've left the hospitality industry, they've left the retail industry, the fast food service industry, because they said it's not for me. I want something else. And some of them, I imagine, found jobs if they're working in factories or manufacturing plants or whatever. working for Amazon, and then making 15, $16 an hour and getting health benefits. Okay. And well, now the other industries, the hospitality industry and the retail industry and the fast food industry, okay, they're following suit and they're offering good, you know, good choices or good employment plans. Okay. So what I'm saying, these young people, and I'm assuming they're all young, you might have older people too who are, are retired, or you have a husband or wife who became widowed and they need extra income. All right. So a lot of these workers who worked at a McDonald's, okay, they always had like two jobs, maybe even three. And now they've left it and they're how my question is, how are they surviving? There's going to be a point where uh, they will need to go back to these other industries. I can't believe every single worker that was at a fast food chain restaurant or a regular restaurant, not even fast food, or who were in the hospitality industry, okay, um, all of a sudden were financially set, okay. Like I said, some, yes, went into other industries, but did everybody went into? I mean, down here we have the Navy shipyards, big employer, big employer. All right, and now we have Amazon coming in. Okay, another big employer. Did they all go there? Okay, did they all go to those industries, or are they living with their parents and getting help from them? How long will that last? Well, anyway, what I'm saying is this, especially with what's happening in the Ukraine, and I was told today it's not the Ukraine, and Ukrainians get upset when we say that. So if one of my Facebook friends are watching, it's Ukraine. But what's happening with Ukraine? We're at this other pivotal point. Excuse me. Um, Other pivotal point where uh, we might have another increase in fuel prices, right? We might have disruptions in food supply chains, all right, especially coming over from Europe and from uh, Russia and Ukraine. All right, so we might have some other issues coming up to not help what's happening right now. Okay, so keeping that in mind, um, we're going to go over something, and let me see, we're at 13 minutes. Let me just share this window here. I put this out on my weekly newsletter, and um, I'm going to post this the portion, a good portion of this article, which was in Business Insider, and then put the rest to a link. Okay, this is not my writing; it's coming from Business Insider, and so it's going over, what what's going on right now. There are other articles written about concerns about a housing market crash. But as I pointed out here, the Federal Reserve will begin raising interest rates in March. Okay, and that's the money that's used when banks have to borrow money from the Federal Reserve. But that kind of like as a snowball effect or a domino effect to mortgage rates. That's the way the mortgage rates are figured out. It's a completely different animal, but they kind of work together. All right. And what it's saying here, my mouse is acting really funny tonight. So that includes real estate. Since the pandemic began in 2020, median home prices have gone on an unprecedented tier, rising over 20%, according to the Federal Reserve data. Now, in 2021, it was around 22% that home prices rise. Many economists and publications that work or are part of the real estate industry or the mortgage industry say, from 3 to 5%. But actually, Zillow is saying another 22% for this year. That's pretty high. I don't know if it's going to go that high, but I know it will increase unless, we have some really big issues now with what's happening with Ukraine, and how much more will we get involved with that? All right. Now, the article also brings why we had to crash in 2008, 2007 to 2008, and because we always compare to what might happen in the next year or so to what happened in 2008. Now, there are big differences. There were many financial organizations that gave risky mortgages to subprime buyers. So they didn't have the best credit. So that we had B, C, D lenders. And of course, the riskier the applicant was, the more chance that they would default on the mortgage. All right, but we've cut that out. Okay, after that, they decided to hear what they're showing here. Well, what they're showing here first, here they're showing medium sales price of houses sold for the United States. So here we have around, and this copy didn't come out too clear. So around 2007, 2008, you have this drop here. All right, because here now you're having people who are beginning to they're not paying their mortgages, and they're having financial difficulties, and a lot of homes are hitting the market. And when you have a greater supply and then maybe demand is going down, then prices begin to fall, and we see that here. But after that point, starting more around 2010, we have a steady increase in the medium home price. Okay, and it's going up and up and up. All right. But what happened to safeguard this crash from happening again? Around that time period, they made the ability to get a mortgage a little bit more tough. So basically, from here and to here to about, I guess that's about let's say around to 2015 or 14, 15, it eases up a little bit, okay? And then maybe around March of 2020, because of those home prices going up, banks put a little bit more of a halt on people getting mortgages because the prices were just getting too high. All right. And what's also different from 2008 is the housing supply is also substantially lower than the years around 2008. Okay. So if demand continues to outpace this lower supply, prices will generally continue to rise. Okay. So the question is, and I actually, when I was looking at my podcast titles, we talked about it. Why fall grass? Why it's not. All right. And it's, but are these indicators enough to assume the market is on solid footing? And I'm going to bring out just key points here, and I will put this on my blog. But we have the increase in interest rates, and again, as home prices going up, it's going to be more difficult for people to buy a house that they truly want. I have that right now with a client. And the houses that they want are more in the $250 to $300,000 range, and they've been approved for just below 200,000. And what they want is not really in that in that price range. So, I mean, my advice to them is it's better to have some real estate than none. So you could buy something now and see what happens. Get something that's affordable for you, and maybe in 4 or 5 years, if your income is higher, you could move up with a house. Okay, and most likely the value of your home will increase. Unless other things happen. All right. So, and then to be honest with you, the rest of this article gets kind of more dealing with economic theory. When it says mortgage rates rise, homebuyers have to reassess budgets and purchasing power as more of the income will go toward interest on the loan versus equity into the property. This becomes a drag on home prices and on economic growth generally. Yeah. People don't look at it that discreetly. They'll just say, I can't afford it right now. They're not going to talk about their purchasing power. And, oh, well, when I make a payment, a lot of people even know how much money goes to interest at the very beginning of the loan. All right. I don't know if they look that deep into it, but as my client is saying, the house that I want is not in my price range right now. But the article continues on how it's important that the Fed has to raise the rates because prices across everything, not just with homes, are going higher and higher and higher. So, and then it also brings up that the investors might, to get more return on property, or if it comes to a point where they think the housing industry will begin to cool off, they may sell some of their investment property, and we may have some houses on the market for that. But that's going to be well into, I would say, 2023. It also talks about uh, housing supply and homes being built, and there's a lot of development going out there. However, they're still being affected by the supply chain of getting the materials, and also the cost of it, because the cost of it is getting very, very high. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is, if you look at the market and you say, well, houses are going for a super duper high price, that's great. Yeah, it's great for the seller. It's not both sides. It's not a win-win situation. I would like it for both the buyer and the seller to be happy and get a good deal. Again, first we kept on talking about the pandemic, and I kept on saying, we got to make sure we get out of this pandemic, and then we know that the economy is going strong, and it seems that we're doing that. And what happens? We have a war going on in Ukraine, and where more people might get involved, more countries. And I'm going to put it out there, there's a chance that America has to go in. All right. I'm not promoting that, but that might be a possibility. And that really makes a lot of changes. Okay. So it's something to think about. You may agree, you might disagree, but this is what's on the forefront. And there may be a lot of changes happening. All right, so that's my show for tonight. Hopefully, I will be actually able to go live next week. If they're not going to give me the appeal, then it won't be until really around, the end of March. Oh, jeez. Okay, but I'll still do my videos. This will be transferred, by the way, to a podcast. I'm changing everything to podcast. I'm on Spotify, and let me get that up here. Okay, and actually, I made a URL address. So if you go to real estate with Mr. G podcast.com, you could see the pod or hear the podcast that I've done since the beginning of this year. I have a lot more, but I don't have time to upload everything. You could go to any of my pages, real estate with Mr. G blog slash broadcast live hyphen live, and you could see all my past podcasts there. But some people, yeah, I mean the podcasts are really really big now because this way you don't have to sit down and be visual and watch it. You could listen to it while you're working, while you're jogging, while you're at the gym, and so it becomes a little bit more diversified, versatile. Okay. All right. So please be kind to each other and remember the greatest gift we have is love. And the greatest, no, oh, no, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking for my ending video. The greatest power we have is the love, and the greatest gift is each other. So I'll see you next week.